is Peter Ross Stevens, and I am an actor. I was just in I guess you could call it the world premiere of Colin Mitchell's No Radio. It's the first time the show's actually ever been produced on stage. It was a very limited performance, but I was asked to partake by Les Miller, the woman who's producing the show for us. She's seen my work before with the ARC Theater Company, and she thought I could do a bang-up job as in this role. He's a sort of violent, lonely guy in the Hell's Kitchen area of New York, which, as I understand it, is called Clinton now. And he communicates with his fists and by yelling more than he can communicate with speaking reasonably or with dignity and respect to people, I guess. Yeah. Actually, I got cut from the baseball team when I was a sophomore in high school. I didn't play in the summer league with the rest of the kids at Lake Washington High School in Kirkland, Washington. And so when I tried out, they cut me because they didn't know what I could do or what I was capable of. And I had a bunch of friends who did theater in high school, and so I just was like, well, if I'm not playing baseball, I might as well be hanging out with my friends. And so I was in 8 shows, mostly musicals, like Bye Bye Birdie and West Side Story, Fiddler on the Roof, Heidi, Annie, Guys and Dolls, all those kinds of shows. When I went to college, I actually started studying chemistry, and I realized how boring it was after I was there for 2 years, and just wasn't for me. And I was taking theater classes at the time as well, and I was like, well, that's the only thing I have going for me at the moment, so I might as well just see how that fits. And it fit. It stuck, so that's what I did. When I was young, like I was raised by a single mother, and I was an only child, and she tried to do her best to sort of expand my horizons as a young man. She wanted to show me all the options there were in the world. And she took me to quite a few plays when I was young. And I remember I saw a production of Peter Pan. It wasn't, I don't think that it was the legendary, like, typical production. It was more like a dumbed down kids version, but I just remember it was so, the forest they were in, these characters was just so, like, magical and fun. I sort of fell in love with storytelling like that. And I guess I don't have the patience to be a writer, and so acting was the way that I could tell stories. My second show ever in Los Angeles, when I moved here, I was in a production of Lloyd's Prayer, and I played Bob the Raccoon Boy, and he was this kid that was raised by raccoons, and I'd never done something so outlandish. Almost the entire first act, I didn't say a word. I was just making like kind of noises and like cleaning my hands, and just doing that for the entire first act. I was on stage for most of it. Just the response I got from the audience was just amazing, and it was one of those shows where just everyone in the theater's hearts were broken, like even mine on the stage. It was about this kid who was raised by raccoons who's finding sort of a father and a family, and healing old wounds, and it was just really moving every single night. Like, there was tears in the house, and that means a lot to me. Like, that's why I do this, is to affect the audience, and that was the most clearly affected audiences I've been around. I went to Western Washington University in Bellingham, Washington, and it was very interesting because we had no kind of grad program. It was all undergrad, and if you go to one of the big fancy schools, the undergrads don't really get to do a lot. They mostly have to sweep floors and get people coffee and stupid whatever. But because there was no grad program where I went, all the undergrads got to have these fantastic opportunities. so it was almost like having a graduate education because I was definitely hands-on. So I had instructors like Jim Lortz and Maureen Riley, our dean, Dean Kuntz. He, I don't know if you know the Kennedy Center ACTF, the American College Theater Festival. He became the national chair of that festival from being from this little rinky-dink school in Bellingham, Washington. And it just kind of shows the sort of minds and the leaps and bounds we tried to take in the theater at Western Washington, and I learned a lot there. I'm glad I didn't stick with chemistry. I have the same stretching routine I do every time. I like to run too, and even if I'm not sore or stiff or whatever, like I do the same like leg stretches just to get motivated. I try to not think about it as much as possible too before a performance. The stage is something that's sacred, and you can't really emulate off the stage what it is that you can do on the stage. And so I generally just trust in the work that we've already put into it, and just take a leap of faith every night out there. I guess physically, I don't like to eat a lot before I go out. I don't want to be full. I'd rather be hungry. I think that just helps with my own personal energy. If I'm hungry instead of full, being full makes you kind of lethargic, I guess. And I'd much rather be a little too cold than a little too warm, because it's such an active process that you need it a little cool in the room. My next project, I have nothing lined up currently, because unfortunately, as many of you probably know, the waiver theater doesn't pay very well, and I need to find gainful employment. But I took a bit of a sabbatical from LA and went to Arizona and visited my mother, and I thought, well, while I'm here, I might as well check out the theater scene. And they've got a great theater scene over there. A lot of like big traveling shows, like a lot of the Broadway stuff. There's a lot of retirement communities, so there's money that's getting put into theater over there. There's a fantastic play I auditioned for and got called back for, that I still have a copy of, and it's called, I can't think of the title or the name, but it's probably for the best because I don't want anybody else doing it, because I would really like to bring it to LA. So there's some plans for that, maybe trying to get a production of that going on my own, because also, as many of us know, we kind of have to do things ourselves because we don't have any, or I guess I should say we don't have much support from the industry and whatnot around here. So yeah, I'll probably end up producing this show myself. We'll see. I'll tell you all about it when the time comes. You have to figure out why you're doing it. Particularly in LA, acting is looked at as sort of playing the lottery. People are seeking some sort of fame and glory and fortune, and if that's why you're doing it, well, maybe you can find that. I think the more important thing about our art form and our craft is telling those stories. It's affecting an audience. It's helping someone to understand the world and themselves better through these characters that they see. So my encouragement would be to maybe change the way you define success. Maybe it shouldn't be about me and what I'm doing and what lights are shining on me and what roses people are throwing to me. Maybe it should be more about the audience and what they take from what I've just done.